All right, we talked them up. Let's bring them in. Former Patriot, forever a Patriot. Super Bowl champion, by the way. Jason McCourty joins us here on Boston has entered the chat. Jason, welcome home. You heard me there. Forever a Patriot. We love you around here. Welcome back home, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, I started with Super Bowl champion. So I'm asking you, we're getting right to it, my man. Does this team have the DNA of a champion? Because you know something about it. When you watch these Patriots, Jason, does this feel like a championship nucleus, like a championship team to you?
Absolutely. Like, you don't just make it to the AFC Championship game by luck or because you had an easy schedule throughout the course of the regular season. To be able to still be playing to win 2 home playoff games against the Chargers, against the Houston Texans, and that elite defense means that you have a championship makeup and you have the whereabouts on this football team to continue to advance to make it to a Super Bowl. And once you get into that game, everyone will pick their favorites or talk about this or that. You have no idea how that game is going to go. So I think it's been so impressive what this team has been able to do throughout the course of the season. And it's almost been like an uphill battle. When they first started off, you're watching them, you're like, well, damn, I think they're a little bit better than we thought they'd be. And then they started having success, and you kind of were waiting for the other shoe to fall. You were waiting for them to lose to the New Orleans Saints and then the Tennessee Titans. You're waiting for them to have that kind of trap game or step backwards, and they just continued to ascend. And the way this defense is playing right now, absolutely, they have the makeups to be able to hoist that Lombardi trophy in San Francisco.
So, Jason, looking ahead to this AFC Championship game, they will be facing a team led by Jarrett Stidham in this game. This morning on the Greg Hill Show, Rob Ninkovich said that he hates facing backup quarterbacks. He would rather face a starting quarterback than any backup quarterback. Is this something that is universally thought? Do you agree with him? Because I found it kind of surprising.
I love Nico. Hell no. Right. When I was a part of the Tennessee Titans for 8 years, I remember my rookie year, we played against Tom Brady, and that's in the snow in Foxborough in that 59-0 game. I think Hoyer was probably the backup then. We got drafted that same year. I would have much rather been playing against Brian Hoyer in that case, playing against Peyton Manning twice a year. I would have much rather played against Jim Sorgi. So that's not a knock on Jarrett Stidham by any stretch. Stiddy is my guy, and he's a veteran. He's one of the first people that Sean Payton signed when he got to the Denver Broncos. But at the same time, as a defensive player, I think what Nico's speaking to is a little bit of the unknown. When you're going against a backup quarterback, you don't know exactly what to expect. If it was going to be Bo Nix, you can go back and look at 18 games worth of film of what he's been able to do and how he's going to react to some of the things that you're going to throw at him that he's seen throughout the course of the season. But still, I think in our league, a starter is a starter for a reason. A backup is a backup for a reason. That doesn't mean Jarrett Stidham can't come out there and beat you on Sunday. He's a very capable backup. I remember when he got in with the Raiders, when they benched Derek Carr, he went against the 49ers, which was a top defense in the league, and put up over 300 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. So he's going to be a guy that knows that offense inside and out. He's going to know where to go with the football, play in and play out. So it's going to be up to this defense to continue to disguise, bring pressure, and do a lot of the same things they've done over the course of the last 2 weeks.
Hey, Joe, you know he meant business when he said, not no, but hell no.
Hell no.
You know. I will say this, though. You know a little something about defensive backs. You played everywhere. Christian Gonzalez, the way he's playing, he's really amped his game. Last week you saw Singletary. This week you'll see Surtain. Just give us a little bit of breakdown of all of those defensive backs. And I think someone's going to be getting paid this offseason. Agent Zero, Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, when you look at Gonzo and you look at Surtain, those are two of the very best in the NFL. Last week for Houston, seeing Derek Stingley Jr. on one side and Kamari Lassiter on the other side, those are two of the best. That might be the best duo in the NFL of how those two guys have played all season long. And you saw from Drake Maye, that doesn't mean you don't attack those guys and try to take advantage of one-on-one opportunities. But for me, I love to watch good cornerback play. The way Carlton Davis played last week, coming away with 2 interceptions, pass breaks-ups, was all over the football field and man-to-man situations. And we're going to see a lot of that on Sunday. Both Riley Moss and Pat Surtain, and then Jaquan McMillan had that huge interception in the game as well. These are all guys that are not afraid to stand at the line of scrimmage, play press man and get after you. And I'll add Marcus Jones in that, had a pick 6 and has been really good in the slot all season long, was in the conversation for an all-pro bid as well. So this is a fun game to watch for me as a DB, because on both sides of the ball, you're seeing some of the best at their craft going toe-to-toe against some really good receivers. For Gonzalez, he's going to see Cortland Sutton, a big receiver for the Broncos and somebody that they go to consistently on third down. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that matchup. And for Surtain and Moss and those guys, the beautiful thing about New England and what Drake Maye does is he spreads the football around. It could be Stephon Diggs, it could be Kayshon Boutte. This could be a game that I would expect a guy like Hunter Henry, he's going to be active, because that's a spot where the Broncos have struggled a little bit, is going against other teams' tight ends.
J-Mac, I want to go back to Gonzo for a second, because I'm curious, when you watch him, and I want you to put your player hat on, give me a scouting report here. What makes What makes him special? What is it? What do you see with him? We just talked about him getting paid, right? So why do you think he's going to get paid? What is it that makes him special? Go ahead, J-Mac.
I think number one, the part that's God-given, with his size and his length, and then it's his patience. He can stand at the line of scrimmage, and when guys are up there making all of those moves trying to get open, he's either standing still or he's moving backward slightly, and he's able to stay in front of guys, and he uses his hands so well to be able to place guys and keep the receivers where he wants them. And then for a lot of us guys, when you're playing DB, it's about the finish, and he can finish at the point of attack, and that's the most important thing, because when you watch football on a Sunday, you're going to see so many guys in position to make plays. And you're going to say, oh, he didn't get his head around. He didn't find the football. Oh, he was so close. He just missed the ball by ½ an inch. That's the difference between the guys that get paid and the guys that don't. And Christian Gonzalez, he possesses that. He's going to be in your hip pocket all game long, but then he's going to finish on the ball. He's going to turn around. He's going to find the football. He's going to intercept it, or he's going to knock it down. And the last part to me about a good cornerback is your willingness to come up and make tackles, whether that's in a run game or when guys are catching the ball in the flat and you got to come up and make a tackle. He has the full package, and he has shown that since he's been on the New England Patriots. So he's a lot of fun to watch. And when you can have a guy that can go and match up with another team's best wide receiver, that's how you go out there and earn your check week after week.
Okay, well, listen, I have you in this pocket. Same question for Drake Maye. When you watch him, keep that scouting report hat on. What do you see with him? What makes him special?
Man, so poised. And you look at this past game, and Drake Maye played well. Like, obviously, there were plays that he'd like to have back, and there were plays where his guys were getting beat up front against a very good Houston Texans defense. Like, we can knock Will Campbell and talk about how Will Anderson got the best of him, or Danielle Hunter. They were the best defense in the NFL for a reason. They have a lot of talented players. And what I loved about watching Drake Maye was it didn't matter what happened in the course of that game. He kept on swinging. And some of the plays he was able to make, it was the drive where Stephon Diggs ends up with the touchdown pass. I mean, the slant to Kayshon Boutte where he's moving the defense with his eyes, waiting for the second window to hit him. And then he comes right back to the slant on a similar pass protection and similar action on the offense. The pass to Kayshon Boutte where he makes the one-hand catch. For Drake Maye, as a defender, when you're on a team with a quarterback like that, there's always belief that you have enough to win the football game. You get the ball to him in a 2-minute situation. Whatever the case it may be, you're going on the field, and it doesn't matter whether it was a sack, fumble, or an interception or what happens. You believe that this guy, when he gets out there, he's going to find a way to make the winning play to propel your team to victory.
Well, Jason, as a player heading into the AFC Championship game, does it feel like the longest week ever between games, or is it like not enough time preparation-wise? Like by Wednesday today, where would you be mentally?
The good thing about early on in the playoffs is it's the same as what the regular season was. It's every single week. So a Wednesday is a Wednesday, a Tuesday, all of those things are the same. Where it gets tricky is you go out there and you win this AFC Championship game. Once that happens, then the process completely changes. I remember back in 2018, we go on the road, we beat Kansas City at Arrowhead, and we come in on Monday after winning that game, and we have our Super Bowl logistics meeting. And I remember them getting up there, the staff, and they said to us, this meeting's only going to be about 10 minutes long. So many of you guys have been in this game before. So for anyone that's new, you have any questions, just hang back. I'm like, well, damn, y'all done been to so many Super Bowls that the guys on the team already know what this process is like. But those 2 weeks are completely different in how you prepare and how you go about it. But for both teams this week, it's status quo. Like, you're doing the same exact preparation. If anything, you're putting in a little bit more extra time when you go home, studying film for maybe another hour, doing just a little bit things a little bit longer, because you know at this point, you know what's on the line, a chance of playing a Super Bowl or a chance to get an early vacation.
Jason, you brought up the Super Bowl. I have to bring up the play where you broke up a huge pass. Literally, dude, it helped basically help win the game.
Yep.
It's one of the biggest highlights. Can you just talk about that? And I got another one for you. You played for the Titans. You played with Mike Vrabel. He's now a Patriot. We don't have to talk about the ownership in Tennessee, but I don't know how they let that man go and can actually sit here and feel good about it. I threw a lot at you there, but bring us back to the Super Bowl and what happened with Vrabel and the Titans.
We can talk about ownership in Tennessee if you want. If you want to, Jason, we can go there.
Oh, man, the Super Bowl, what a fantastic memory. I think for me, it was special. Obviously, my twin brother was a member of the Patriots for 13 years. He played in 5 Super Bowls, won 3 of them. So when I got my opportunity in 2018 to go to the Super Bowl, it was the 5th time I had been to the Super Bowl as well. It was just the first time I was going to be allowed to be down on the field during the game. So it just made the moment that much better because I understood from his perspective of what goes into getting into that game, what goes into the preparation, the family, all of the things outside of actually playing in the game, I had been a part of 4 different times. So I remember throughout the course of those 2 weeks, I likened it to Christmas morning, and you're the kid and you wish your family had the family memories and everybody sitting around and opening presents, but you never had that. But the family next door did. And every Christmas you'd go out there and you'd stand in the driveway and you'd watch through the window and you'd watch them opening presents and the big smile on everybody's face. That's what it was like for me, for four opportunities to go watch my brother take part in the Super Bowl. And I got to see the joy when they won and the agony and defeat when they fell short. So for me to get that opportunity and obviously to get a chance to make a big play to determine the outcome of it was just special. And on the other side for Vrabel, I think when you talk about coaches getting fired, moving on, I mean, just look at what this offseason has been so far. Ownership gets it wrong a lot, and that doesn't mean ownership is bad. Coaches get fired and rehired and move on to other places. I watched the Buffalo Bills press conference on Sean McDermott being fired, and it looked like they were just like, we lost a game in Denver, everything was sad, so we wanted to move on. So a lot of these decisions get made fast, and obviously they're hard ones, but they're not always the right ones. And we see that every single year because quarter of the league fire their coaches and move on. And for lack of better, the same guys end up getting hired. Robert Saleh now is the head coach for the Tennessee Titans, and I know there's a ton of hope, and I'm excited to see what happens there as well. But Saleh was just a head coach for the New York Jets, so it's just the way our league operates.
Well, a couple months ago, Tom Brady said that he cloned his dog, and I'm not ruling out that he also cloned himself, and that clone is Drake Maye. Do you see
Possible.
a lot? I mean, it's possible. That's what I'm wondering. Do you see a lot of Tom Brady in Drake Maye?
I love that. The way that question started with Brady cloning his dog, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to go no comment because I have no idea where the heck this is going. But from being around Drake Maye a little bit in training camp in the preseason, getting a chance to talk to him throughout the course of the season, the similarity for me is how they deal with their teammates. And I know when I got to New England, the thing that was special about Brady to me was Brady was an absolute rock star. Like I remember one time he went to a charity event and he could only stay for 5 minutes because the amount of people that surrounded him, but he still was able to be grounded and to be around his guys and be a normal person. Edelman would be cracking jokes about his dad jeans or his ugly shoes in the locker room, and we all would be going at it. In training camp and mandatory minicamp, he'd come to practice and it'd be straight trash talking. We'd be cursing Brady out and he'd be cursing us out. So I think that's a unique ability to be able to relate, especially for Brady, who was 10 years older than me when I got to New England, and I was already a veteran and was older than the majority of the guys in the locker room. When I see Drake Maye, he has a lot of those similarities in how he's able to relate to everybody in the locker room, hanging out with the offensive linemen, the relationship with the wide receivers. I think think for your quarterback, when you can tie and bring everybody together, it's special. And I'll go back to what I said earlier about so poised. The moment is never too big. And both of those guys, you see them throughout the course of a season, throughout the course of a game, they make the big plays when their team needs it most. Obviously, Drake Maye has a long way to go before he's mentioned in the same breath, in the same conversation as Tom Brady. But as a New England Patriot fan, you got to be fired up to have him as your quarterback.
We definitely are. All right, last question, Jason. How's this thing going to play out? I mean, I know Mile High's tough, the altitude and all the nonsense. This is still Jarrett Stidham we're talking about here. This is still a Patriots defense that's hotter than fish grease right now. I'm still waiting on the Drake Maye game. Like, I want a great clean sheet, no turns, 300 passing yards, make some plays with your legs. How do you see this playing out in Denver on Sunday?
I think it's going to be a close game. I know Stidham is the backup, and a lot can be said for whatever the course of that when you don't have your starting quarterback and all of that. Sean Payton is one hell of a coach, a Super Bowl champion, and he's an offensive guy, a quarterback whisperer, whatever adjective you want to use to talk about what he's been able to do on offense in the NFL. I think he's going to have a plan, and he's going to have Stidham ready to play. I think for the New England Patriots, how much confusion can you cause Jarrett Stidham? Yes, he's a veteran. Yes, he understands offense. He understands defenses, but he hasn't been out there. So how much can you speed him up when it comes to game day? And I think on the opposite side of the ball, you mentioned Drake Maye, continuing to run the football, watching what Buffalo did a week ago to this Broncos defense, being able to run to that right side of the offense, where New England in the fourth quarter, they decided to just hand it off and pound it with that right side. If they can do that and take some of that pressure off of Drake Maye, I think as a football fan, you want to see your quarterback throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and all that. I want to just see him control and manage the game, understanding when I have a chance to hold on to the football and throw it down the field, understanding when my guys up front are one-on-one. If Will Campbell's one-on-one with Nick Benito on my left, I don't have time to double clutch or doing that. I have to get the ball out quick. I have to be efficient. I do think for them to win the game, I think it's going to be a big game in the passing game for the running backs and the tight ends. I think that's where they win. And Stevenson has been good in the pass game, and Hunter Henry has been good. Those are two guys I think that can have big games in this one. I do think New England comes away victorious. I think Denver losing their starting quarterback, as much as I like Stidham, it means a lot, and it changes a lot for them offensively, especially with Bo Nix's ability to be mobile and get outside the pocket and do some of those things. Stidham's a good athlete. He doesn't have that same aspect of his game as a Bo Nix, though.
Okay, Jason, we're warming up the duck boats. We're not, we're just cutting them on, making sure.
Take a breath.
We're warming them up. Who are the Patriots playing in the Super Bowl, my friend? Rams or Seahawks?
I like Seattle, man. I've been on Seattle
defensive guy.
From the beginning of the season.
They both have good defenses. They both have good defenses, right, Jason?
They do, but one's defense is elite. And watching Seattle play, man, and I think that's going to be the better of the two games. I mean, this is the game that we all want to see. These have been the two teams in the NFC that we've talked about as being the two best teams really in the NFL for majority of the second half of the season. So seeing them two match up. But if I'm Seattle, I don't want this to be a shootout. Like, I want this game to be sloppy. I want it to be ugly. I don't want to ask Sam Darnold to go toe-to-toe with Matthew Stafford. We want to make this thing muddy.
Okay. All right. We'll have you back to preview the Super Bowl. Whoever the Patriots play, we appreciate you. As I started this segment with you, Jason, forever a Patriot. We love you around here. You're a Super Bowl champ. Thanks so much for joining us, my man.
Thanks, Jay.
I appreciate it. Good to talk to you guys.
Good to talk to you, too. All right, still to come here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Another name, Ranger Suarez. Hey, he's a Red Sox player now. We'll go to Fenway and get the check the temperature on his introductory press conference next, right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat.